In 2003, Never Gonna Dance opened at the Broadhurst Theater. An update of the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movie Swing Time, the show took the score of that film and created almost an entirely new book for it, tossing in a couple new songs as well, very much like Crazy for You or Nice Work If You Can Get It.
Now, the show was about Lucky, whose marriage was stopped at the altar by his bride's father because he was a dancer and not rich enough. Now, Lucky goes to the city to prove he can make money dancing and falls in love with a dance instructor.
Several of the reviews mentioned that Lucky needed to go make $25,000 and half said $20,000, leading me to believe that they inexplicably changed the number during previews, which made me laugh. Or someone just made a mistake, but I thought it was funny.
Now, Michael Greif directed, and it seemed a slightly out-of-character project for the man who did Rent. Jerry Mitchell choreographed, and with the glamorous, snappy dance numbers, the show proved a huge breakthrough for him. He successfully paid homage to the movie while still inventing his own bits. Now, one memorable moment in the show is when Lucky was in Grand Central Station. Experiencing all the rhythms and moves of a train station, he found that he just had to dance. Kids just want to dance. Another moment was when Lucky and Penny, his dance instructor, danced to The Way You Look Tonight on top of a New York City skyscraper.
Swing Time was one of the most famous Depression-era escape movies, so producers thought it would really speak to audiences in 2003 as well. It was a Hollywood Valentine to New York and to dancing. At the time Never Gonna Dance opened, 42nd Street, Thoroughly Modern Millie, and Wonderful Town were all playing.
And the two leads were Noah Racy and Nancy Lemonade. They were charming, incredible performers and danced up a storm. But there were inevitable comparisons to Fred and Ginger. When you adapt a piece with such famous stars, no matter how great the new actors are, there will always be those who aren't satisfied. However, Noah Racy especially got great reviews. He seemed to bring out that very human truth and sadness of a musical comedy character.
This was a photo shoot that Nancy and Noah did for, I think, Theater Mania, where they're like romantically lounging in a subway system, like New York and Old New York, and I'm just like, oh gosh. Karen Ziemba played Nancy's sassy friend who got a second act showstopper, as she does, and Peter Garrity played her hobo beau. I love that. There were several characters not in the movie, including a couple going against the leads in a dance competition played by Deirdre Goodwin and Eugene Fleming. The only number in the movie that wasn't put into the show was Bojangles of Harlem, which had featured Fred Astaire in blackface.
Probably a good idea. Probably. In the post, Liz Smith said, "The dancing is unbelievable, glorious, and glamorous." Isherwood's review summed it up with, the show twinkles along amiably, but only rarely dazzles. That was indicative of most of the reviews. Now also, not only did the show not have any name actors, it didn't have a title that got name recognition either.
This is crazy. The original New York Times review of Swing Time back in 1936 said, "We could not even whistle a bar of A Fine Romance, and the other songs, including Pick Yourself Up and The Way You Look Tonight, are merely adequate or worse." Wow. So, perspective. I like that quote because perspective. Tony Yazbeck appeared in the workshops of Never Gonna Dance and was a swing when the show opened on Broadway. There's his headshot at the time. Pretty amazing. Here to speak about his experience in Never Gonna Dance and sing a tune from it, Tony Yazbeck.
Okay, well that headshot is killing me right now. God. Okay. Let's see where to start. Shows like this have a deep place in my heart because I grew up when I was 4 years old and watched Fred Astaire on TV and in the movies. They were kind of my Saturday morning cartoons, really. It was Fred and Gene. And so when you see shows like this, which don't happen all the time, all you can do is thank the producers for doing it, even if it doesn't do as well. And then, it runs for 2 months. But yeah, so I have this weird story where I did the workshop and they weren't sure who they were going to use, and at first they weren't going to use me. And then they decided last minute to bring me in as a swing. And I mean last minute, I mean the end of tech. And the choreography had changed dramatically by then. It was a year later, maybe a year and a half later. And I didn't have any rehearsal time. So I got there and they said, so these are the 6 guys that you're going to cover in case they go out. We don't have a rehearsal space for you. We have no money for it. You're just going to have to cover it. And luckily, I had a little bit of experience because I had swung Oklahoma 2 years earlier. So I was, thinking, okay, these are the things I have to do here. But no time and no space. And at the Broadhurst Theater, there's really no space. That space is really tiny. So I found space. I went down to the bathrooms in the lobby during the start of previews because that was the only space that I had to actually look at something and then go down to where the bathrooms were in the lobby and hear it over the monitor and actually try to do the choreography. So you can just imagine, people having to go to the bathroom and they're watching me do tap steps all over the carpet. That was my experience basically at Never Gonna Dance. And actually went on 16 times I think in 2 months, which was a lot. But it was exciting nonetheless. And this song is actually sort of more of a transition song in the show. And I always heard it and it just spoke to me and it just had this really fun feeling. And I always wanted it to be a bigger number. So I guess almost 10 years later I get to do it. I'll say. The days of the good old knights are gone, but chivalry still carries on. I wear no armor, but to my charmer I hereby pledge my all. In other words, I'm at your beck and call. Put me to the test and I'll climb you